Scared you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, how crazy was last night?
Crazy.
Let's talk about it. You want to talk about it?
Mm-mm.
We'll go get some coffee. You want some?
No, okay.
No?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You okay?
Yeah. Yeah, everything's fine. Babe, can I ask you a question?
Sure. What's up?
Do you think this is the right thing I should be doing? I mean, starting a private investigation service.
Jet, you're a natural born hero. I know that it can get tiring or even annoying dealing with people's problems, but they come to you for a reason. And that's because you're the only person that can help them. So toughen up, big guy. And don't forget my guacamole tonight.
Okay, baby.
If I had to live without you, love, my soul would die. If I had to live without you, love, my soul would die.
Hey, how's the morning, man?
Good morning, Dave. What's going on? How's your weekend?
It was alright. Lakers got blown out by 20.
That's terrible. Any new clients?
Yeah, a mother. She's in.
What's your name?
Amma.
Name's Riley. Pleased to meet you. We should see a movie sometime.
On board a Rocky Mountaineer train, explore the majestic Canadian Rockies or the desert views of the American Southwest with service as exceptional as the scenery. Book now and save $800 per couple on Rocky Mountaineer.
Wow, look at that. Universal Studios Hollywood sold out tonight. Opening night is sold out. Wow. Well, we have a press check-in, but I don't qualify for that yet.
So now that we've talked about the epidermis, or our topmost layer of skin, let's descend further down and talk about the dermis, these next two layers of skin, and then we'll also talk about the hypodermis, which is the bottommost layer of skin here. So as you can see, your dermis has two layers to it, and again it sits right below your epidermis. So your epidermis, the topmost layer of skin, sits up here. And if you can recall, the bottommost layer of your epidermis is called the stratum basale, the basal layer of your epidermis. So below that, we have our first layer of the dermis, which is called the papillary dermis. This is the topmost layer of the dermis. And then below the papillary dermis, we have what's called the reticular dermis. The reticular dermis, right here. And the main difference between the dermis versus the epidermis is the type of tissue we have here. Recall that in the epidermis, this follicle will have from it emerging a hair. This hair, I guess I should label this also, the hair, of course, is going to protrude at the top Hypo just means below, and this layer sits right below the dermis. And so your hair follicle is anchored within your reticular dermis, and the hair itself is allowed to grow and protrude from your epidermis. One of the other things that we have kind of sitting in your dermis that's anchoring itself onto the hair or the hair follicle is this slab of muscle that we've got right here. So this guy, I'll write it off there. This is an erector pili muscle. An erector pili muscle, and this is involved in extending or having your hair stand straight up when you're cold or when you're scared. And finally, now that we've talked about the dermis, we can move to our last layer of skin. Although it's technically not skin, but it's called the hypodermis. This is the hypodermis, which is a great name because, as you might recall, hypo just means below, and this layer sits right below the dermis. Another name for it is subcutaneous fat, and I think that's also a great name for what we have here. Subcutaneous. If you might remember, cutaneous is just another name for skin, so subcutaneous fat. And that's exactly what we have down here. We have tons of layers of fat that could vary from person to person. And although fat gets a lot of flack, we have to realize that it's very important because there are two main functions.
Has your brain ever wondered what the... And then the later section of the brain stem is a part of the hindbrain. Take a look at this picture. The reason... Put an arrow mark like this. Do not confuse that with cerebrum. Cerebrum we'll concentrate on. So let me just put them together. So this... One of the things that you can think of is thinking, right? And when I say thinking, I'm including a lot of things over here because there's not much space. Thinking, your learning ability, your speech, language, all of that comes from your forebrain. But what else? To think about what else your forebrain can do, take a look at this picture. The reason you are able to see this is because of these two are important for us. Heart beating, your breathing, digestion, all. For example, the feeling of hunger, the feeling of being sleepy. Our eyes enable us to see all the beautiful things around us. In this video, we're going to see the structure of this eye, the things that make up our eye. When we look at our face, it looks somewhat like this. This is my poor attempt at drawing a face. But if we were to concentrate only on the eye and get rid of all the skin, then we will be left with a ball. And that ball is usually called the eyeball. Now, let's look at this eyeball from the side and let's assume it is transparent so that we can see inside. Here it is. So we'll look at the different major parts of our eyes and we'll also see what each one does. So let's start with the one that is most visible to us, this one, this structure. This is called the iris. The iris. And when people talk about the color of the eye, they're actually talking about the color of the iris. So when light hits our eyes, the light that falls on our iris gets reflected. And the color of the light that gets reflected totally depends upon the pigment that makes it up. In this case, it is green. And so we would say that person has green eyes. In my case, for example, it is brown. So my iris reflects brown light. And so my eyes are brown in color. But notice our iris has a hole in its center. And that hole is also given a name. It's called the pupil. So let's just write that down somewhere over here. That hole is called the pupil. And as you can see, the pupil is through which the light enters into our eyes. So through the pupil, light will enter into our eyes. And this is what enables us to see things. Now, our iris has a very important job. Its job is to control the size of this pupil, the hole. And that's because during the daytime or when the ambient lighting conditions are very bright, then there are a lot of rays of light that are hitting our eyes. So we wouldn't want too many rays of light entering our eyes, because in that case, that might damage our cells. So in such a case, what we'll do is our iris will
Are you serious?
Black medallions on my neck, Shaka Zulu with the tech. Fat nigga in the gym, now I got a little pecs. I like my hoes with six packs, slim looking like they sweat breath. Double mint fresh, doing yoga with a neck. Chocolate rap, bitch, I do this for the sec. Gang, gang, let my nuts hang, so watch where you step. I don't do this for respect, I just do this for the checks. Pop my wet cokes, bubble splashing, spilling on the press. Went from noodles in the jets to watching Hulu on the jet. Do your Google slow as voodoo, wrote this on a shrunken head. Bitch, I'm fresh, I'll never land. Porsches down like Peter Pan, or eggs in hand for Sam I am. Yes, I am the man, whore.
My name is Mr. Motherfucking Esquire, and I'm not rapping for a basketball team. I'm not rapping to keep myself out of trouble. I'm rapping for the motherfucking
Are you serious?
I can't take it anymore, Mr. Nibbles. It's always, yo, Death Knight, buff my armor. Hey, Death Knight, get yourself sacrificed.
the motherfucking microphone wave now. I'll be like, hold up, where's my phone? Gotta go get a call to gold up. To gold up? No, he's not. He's still sleeping on this motherfucking mountaintop. He had to climb. Yes, he did. No way, he's under fucking balls keeping this sick. No, 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 he doesn't know we're sick. But he's got motherfucking nails on his kids. His kids be like, I don't even know. Let me fight you for a fucking show. Hold up, I didn't say nothing. You know, I just said you had an attitude. I'm gonna fucking about that rude and be like, who the fuck said I could scoot up to me? Miss Scoozy Musket be back up, backs up. I don't even know. I tried to say flat, but I left out that, so I like my fucking style. Be like, hold up, he's too dangerous for the now. He's gonna get caught. Probably not even that great of a beat, but I'm gonna rip it up sweet. That's how I cheat. I get your feelings going and then I read through them. Alpha on the beats. Be like, I don't know who this going on. Probably not even that great of a beat, but I'm gonna rip it up sweet. That's how I cheat. I get your feelings going and then I read through them. Alpha on the beats. Be like, I don't know who this going. I don't know my sin showing, but I'm not lowing. My fountain top, looking mountaintop, and I'm like, gotta get up to that top and be like, hey girl, what you doing? You wanna come over to me? No fluent. I got the coffee, but you know what? I don't even know I drink my jalopy. My oil shows up. I don't even know how to doze up. If I did, I'd be too sweet and you caught up with this fucking geek. You know why I come in fucking neat with my whiskey treats. Be like these up with my fucking shit before I get these up. And what's in? Because I'm just Strawson. And I'm be like, who the fuck rockin'? It's me. I get that lick up into a cup, roll up the fucking shit and make it see me. I don't even know tutor. Coming in with her and fucking tutor up to this shit. Cause that's how I get sick. I empty out my fucking diaphragm and flick everything. I don't even need, cause if I did, I'd be swinging on my hunger street. And I'm like, hold up. Who the fuck said I can roll through the road up? They're rolled up. I got my window rolled up and I'm just motherfucking clan with the guy. No way, I ain't in the clan, I lied. I'm just trying to hotbox this shit because I'm gonna start up on my fucking shop and shit. My fucking shit and shade down. The motherfucking microphone wave now. I'll be like, hold up, where's my phone? Gotta go get a call to gold up. To gold up? No, he's not. He's still sleeping on this motherfucking mountaintop. He had to climb. Yes, he did. No way, he's under fucking balls keeping this sick. No, he doesn't
back up.